Are we live? Are we live? Hang on a second. Are we live? Hang on. Whoa. Did you guys watch those two episodes? The Bad Batch and the Mandalorian? Did you watch them? Hang on. Did you watch them? What was with that Bad Batch episode? Okay. Hey, hang on. We're not getting upset. We haven't even started the stream yet. Okay? Hang on. What is up, Star Wars fans? How we doing on this fine Thursday evening? How we doing? We got a lot of Star Wars stuff to cover tonight. Of course, the two episodes that we got to talk about, the Bad Batch, of course, being one of them, and the Mandalorian being the other. But there is some other Star Wars news that we have to talk about regarding the Acolyte show. Of course, next week's episode of the Mandalorian, we got some news about the runtime for that and some other things in that capacity, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so of course, smash the like button if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe so we can get moving here along this stream. So, as you guys come in, of course, tell me in the chat what you guys thought of those two episodes. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me your ranking out of 10. We're going to start with the Bad Batch, episode 13, called Pabu. We're going to break it down. There's really nothing to break down, but we're going to break it down. Don't forget to smash a like on this video and tell me what you rank that episode out of 10. Tell me what you rank that episode out of 10 in the chat as we get into it here. Okay, so episode 13 of the Bad Batch. Yes, we're on episode 13 now. 13. There's only 16 in the season, and we are on 13. It is kind of sad it is coming to an end, but at the same time, week after week, the Bad Batch continues to frustrate me. The Bad Batch is a roller coaster ride, to say the least. And this one was a downbeat in the roller coaster, if that's what you even want to consider it. So rank it out of 10 in the chat as we go along. I will give you my ranking, of course, as we break it down. After we break it down. So, the Bad Batch. I said it on Tuesday. I said, prepare for a filler episode. I said it's probably not going to be something as epic as we got the last 2 weeks, because the last 2 weeks before this episode were a straight banger. It was straight fire. The Bad Batch was like boom, boom, boom. This is it. This is awesome. We got Crosshair back. We got all this stuff back. So I kind of warned us about the filler episode coming up. And it was worse than I ever thought. It was way worse than I ever could have imagined. It's okay, Badger, that you're late, and it's okay, Logan, that you've been busy. We know people get busy. It's fine. But drop your guys' ranking for the Bad Batch episode 13 out of 10 in the chat as we go along. So it was a filler episode. To say the least, it was a filler episode. To be generous, we'll give it a filler episode. Honestly, if we're being mean, it was straight hot garbage. Honestly, hated it. It wasn't that bad, but it was bad. It was bad because of the fact that we had two straight banger episodes before that. It was like banger Mando episode, banger Bad Batch episode, banger Mando episode, banger Bad Batch episode, all right Mando episode, or a decent good episode of Mando. What the hell was that Bad Batch episode? It was pretty Badger Bad Batch episode. Honey Badger, we're doing the Bad Batch first. Honey Badger, we're doing the Bad Batch first. So my ranking out of 10 for the Bad Batch episode 13 is a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5. Okay? 6.5. Okay, I'm gonna try and be nice. I'm gonna be try and be really nice about the Bad Batch episode. Okay, I'm gonna try to be bad. Be nice about the Bad Batch episode. So, it was a action adventure type thing. It was kind of like a. I think somebody said it in the Discord. I think it was Journeyman. Said it was like a Saturday morning cartoon. It was not the Bad Batch that we've gotten the last couple weeks. It was not anything close to that. We got Crosshair on Mount Tantus. We got the Zillow Beast the week before that. We were like, yes, we're going to Mount Tantus. We're Nala Se and Dr. Hemlock. They're hunting down Omega. But none of that happened. We took a week off. And that week off was them going to this remote planet with Fee. Her name's Fee, right? The pirate lady, Fee, and they go to this remote planet called Pabu. My prediction on Pabu actually being a Anzellan was way off, but we won't talk about that. But yes, Fee on Pabu, yes. But it was just like this weird episode where I thought something was going to happen. I thought somebody, like a bounty hunter or something, or the Empire even, was going to come in and try to take Omega. The entire episode, I was just waiting for that. I was waiting for something cool to happen. When the tremors started happening, I was like, okay, here comes the Empire, or okay, here comes a bounty hunter to come take Omega. None of that happened. And I know, maybe I got myself too psyched up. Everybody says I always get myself too psyched up, but I like to get psyched up because I'm a Star Wars fan, okay? Okay, hang on. Let's calm down. Okay? So the tremors just caused a tsunami. And that was the threat of the episode, this tsunami. And they just ran from the tsunami. Ended up running from the tsunami and succeeding, getting all the people in the village up to the top level, whatever you want to call it. There was nothing special going on in this episode. Literally nothing. The best thing to come out of this episode was all of the memes across Twitter, across Instagram, across everything about this mayor character on Pabu. The mayor and how he looks like a fatter Mace Windu. That was pretty much all. Yes, fat Mace, exactly. That was pretty much all that came out of this episode. That's it, pretty much. I mean, if you want to be generous, you could say that, oh, it was a Omega like building episode, and Hunter and how he's more of a father figure now, and they're gonna settle down on this planet. Hate to break it to you guys, that's not happening. This next episode is probably going to be either the Empire or a bounty hunter coming to find Omega and take her to Mount Tantus. That's what's going to happen, because I believe let me double check my what do we think, what's the next episode name? I'm gonna look, but does anybody know? Tell me in the chat if you know, just so you can, I don't have to look, but I'm gonna look anyway. I'm pretty sure it's called like The Tipping Point, or maybe that's the next episode or something. Let's see. Let us see. The next episode for the Bad Batch is called. Jeez, it's so far down here that I just have to keep on scrolling. Found it. Oh, the next one is called The Tipping Point. I was right. So episode 14, which is next week, is called The Tipping Point. Yeah, the last one is called 99. Plan 99. Yeah. Next episode is called The Tipping Point. Okay, and that is obviously referring to Hunter probably losing his mind or losing his absolute crap after Omega gets taken, and Omega gets taken by the Empire or a bounty hunter and gets sent to Mount Tantus, where she's probably going to find Crosshair or something along those lines. I don't know. Something crazy is going to happen, but the tipping point, what they're referring to here in the title, is clearly referring to something bad is going to happen. It's not, next week is not going to be another filler episode. The rest of the season, I believe, at least the last 3 episodes coming in here, are going to be very, very good. Okay? Very, very good. Honey Badger, I'm going to say your name like that from now on, okay? Honey Badger says, real serious question. Maybe I'm just lost, but where's Cody? Yeah, so Commander Cody, I don't think is coming back. I don't think so. They kind of played it off very strange in that 3rd episode where Cody was involved. Cody was in that 3rd episode with Crosshair. And the only real information we get about him was that Admiral Rampart, is he an admiral? Admiral Rampart says that Cody went AWOL, and that's all we got. So I think either the Empire is either like keeping Cody as a prisoner or something along those lines. I don't really know what's going on with Commander Cody, but I doubt we'll see him the rest of the season. I really do. I really doubt that we'll see him the rest of the season. Do you still think they're all going to die at the end of the season? Yes, Logan, I do. Maybe not this season, but season 3. Okay? I think maybe season 3. We talked about it on Tuesday about possibly having a season 3, and we went to the polls, and I think it won, right? Everybody thought there was going to be a season 3. It depends on how this season ends and how well this season did. If this season did like crap numbers, then they might not even get a third season. But if it does get a third season, I think they will die. And Logan, we actually joked about it, but I think it's actually a serious thing. Vader's going to come in and just chop all their heads off. That's how they're all going to die. Yeah. Honey Badger says, I thought Cody would meet up with Rex. I doubt it. I doubt we ever see Commander Cody again, which is sad. And I really hope we do see him again, because it was cool to see him again, but the way they sent him out was stupid. It was stupid. Exactly, Logan. Exactly. So honestly, I gave this episode a 6.5 out of 10. As much as I hated it, it wasn't like that bad. I just really, really hated it because of the fact that it was just a filler episode after 2 straight banger episodes. And I know it's the Bad Batch. What do you expect? It's the Bad Batch. But again, if it wasn't coming out at the same time as The Mandalorian, I probably wouldn't be as upset. If Lucasfilm wasn't so stupid, I probably wouldn't be as upset. If I didn't have to wait till 3 a.m. on a Wednesday to watch the episode, I probably wouldn't be that upset. But who's keeping count? Who's keeping count at this point? Honey Badger says, missed opportunity to have Rex and Cody help the Bad Batch fight the Empire. I agree. They should have definitely had Cody more involved in this season. Just having the one episode was kind of dumb, and maybe he'll come in at the end. Maybe he's on Mount Tantus as well. You never know. If they got Crosshair there, they might also have Commander Cody there as well. I don't know. Logan says, well, optimistically, why do you throw in big words like that, Logan? You know they trip me up, okay? Well, optimistically, it's always great to see Vader. Exactly. If Vader came in and sliced their heads off, it would be the best scene of any Bad Batch episode ever. And you can't even deny that. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. It was so weird. I really hope we see Cody again. Yeah, I really do hope we see Cody again, but it seems unlikely. It does seem unlikely. All right, enough of this Bad Batch. Enough of the Bad Batch. Let's go to The Mandalorian, what we actually want to talk about, because actually, the more and more I've watched The Mandalorian, because I've watched episode 3-4 times now, the more and more I actually liked that episode. Now, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. What did you guys think? Jeffrey, are you saying good night as in like you're leaving now already? You just got here. Okay, no. What do you rank that episode 3 of The Mandalorian? I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But what did you guys think? Guys and girls, of course. I always forget to say girls. You guys have to remind me to say guys and girls. No. So what did you guys think about that 3rd episode of The Mandalorian Season 3? What do we think? What did we think? Honey Badger says, agreed. We need Vader and the Inquisitors to start showing up. They're all over the books and comics, but we barely see them. But we only see them in Rebels and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and Jedi Fallen Order. Exactly. We definitely need some more Inquisitors and Vader, and the Bad Batch is the time to do that. And the Andor show. If Andor season 2 is just like Inquisitors all over the place, sign me up. Because how slow that first season was, if they just hit the floor running. I mean, Vader's in Rogue One, so why not put Vader in the Andor show as well? Am I right? I mean, would Andor season 2 not skyrocket like in viewership if Vader was in there? Let's be real. If you put Vader in anything, you're going to get the views. We're going to talk about the Mandalorian views, like the premiere for season 3 and how terrible they were in a minute, but okay. Let's talk about episode 3 of The Mandalorian. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. And I'm going to stay at a 7.5 out of 10 because I gave the first episode, the premiere of season 3, a 8 out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10. And I don't think that last episode was better than the premiere by any means. But I do think, because I was a little down on it when I first watched it, that like it was just so much Dr. Pershing. But with all that being said, okay, Logan, yeah, go watch it. Get out of here. Don't want to spoil it. Get out of here, Logan. Okay. So with that being said, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. But as I watched it more, I began to absolutely love this episode. There's a lot to love. Just off the jump, you start off with an awesome fight scene in space between Bo and Din versus these TIE interceptors that come out of nowhere, a whole fleet of them. And they start to take them out one by one. They get back to Kalevala. There's this awesome scene where Din Djarin has to jet back down to his own ship. And then they have this awesome fight scene against these TIE interceptors. And when they've finished off all of them, then these bombers come in out of nowhere and bomb the crap out of Bo-Katan's castle. So awesome. Like, so awesome. And then there's a ton of TIE interceptors, like a whole freaking fleet of them. And Bo-Katan even says this right before they go into hyperspace, like, this is not a warlord. This is not some remnant of the Empire. This is something big. This is something huge. And then we, of course, go to Coruscant. But that opener is, like, insane. One of the best scenes, like fight scenes in space and on Kalevala that we've seen in a long, long time in Star Wars. And The Mandalorian is so good at those, like, flying scenes, the flying fight scenes. You see the one in The Mandalorian Season 2 on Navarro. Like, they are just really good at those. You got the even in the Book of Boba Fett, it's good, like the Slave One flying around. But then you go to Coruscant. And a lot of people are like, oh, it dragged on for way too long with Dr. Pershing, blah, 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 blah. I actually don't think, like, I think all of the time we spent with Dr. Pershing and even being introduced to Elia Kane was necessary. I think all of it was leading, of course, to the mind wiping of Dr. Pershing. And I think Dr. Pershing and just this whole storyline in general in this episode is extremely important moving down the line through this season. I think a lot of people are upset with this episode because of the fact that it spent so much time with Dr. Pershing and not with Din and Grogu. But hear me out. I think that Dr. Pershing, and I'm working on a full form video of this, and it will come out, I think, either tomorrow or Saturday. I'm going to try and get out tomorrow, but most likely Saturday. So I think that Dr. Pershing, of course, is a huge part of the season moving forward. Maybe not him himself anymore because his mind is wiped, but what he did is going to be extremely important. Now we know from the beginning, from episode 3, 2, whatever, of The Mandalorian, when he brings Grogu back to Navarro to give him to the Imperial Warlord guy, what's his name? The Client? Does he even have a name? The Client. Dr. Pershing is there, and his whole objective is to take Grogu's blood and begin cloning. He's trying to clone for the Empire. And what's weird about this is we get zero explanation as to what Dr. Pershing was trying to clone, who he was doing it for. Like, was it Moff Gideon, or was it even a bigger bad like Thrawn or something along those lines? Was it Palpatine's contingency plan? We get no answers to any of this. Then we don't see Dr. Pershing for a while, and then he shows up again in season 2 when they go to Navarro, and he's in the hologram, and there's a cloning facility on Navarro that they end up blowing up. You also see what looks to be a Snoke, like an early version of Snoke or something along those lines. In that cloning facility, they blow that up, and then you see Dr. Pershing again at the end of season 2 when they're trying to get to Moff Gideon's ship, and that's when his ear almost gets blasted off by Cara Dune and all that stuff. But there's still so much mystery behind the character of Dr. Pershing, what he was actually doing, what he actually accomplished, and like, is he actually going to like explain any of this? So here's where I'm at. Here's what my video is going to be about, kind of. So I think, and this is just me, they're going to try to connect it to the sequels without making fans upset. So many fans were upset that this whole episode was centered around Dr. Pershing, but we didn't get enough time with Din and Grogu. But if this is so important to the rest of the season, if all this stuff with Dr. Pershing and what he did was so important for the rest of the season, then this episode you're going to look back on and be like, okay, that was actually really good. And here's why I think this. Why on earth would the Empire put one of their most trusted officers in Elia Kane on Coruscant just to wipe the mind of a harmless doctor. Why? Why would they need to wipe Dr. Pershing's mind unless he knows something? He knows something, or he created something, and they desperately, the Empire desperately cannot let the New Republic find out about it. They can't. And I think that the New Republic is going to start to find out about this stuff with Carson Teva, we've already talked about in the past, going into the Outer Rim, knowing that something is going on out there with the Imperial Remnant. Something dangerous is being built up out there, and he is catching on to this. Carson Teva is definitely going to be the connection and the guy who is putting all the pieces together. And maybe he comes to Dr. Pershing because he knows that he worked for the Empire. But now Dr. Pershing's not going to have any recollection of any of this because his mind just got wiped. But now it's more of a question of, what did Dr. Pershing create? Did he create Snoke? Did he create Supreme Leader Snoke? Did he create the cloned body for Palpatine? Did he create Palpatine's son, aka Rey's dad? Or a clone of Palpatine? Here's where, okay. You want to hear, just blow your mind off with the sequels? They say that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter, correct? No. Because Rey's dad is not Palpatine's son. He's a clone of Palpatine. So technically, and I know, technically with the sequels is like anything could happen. Technically, Rey is the daughter of Palpatine. Technically. If we're being technical. If we're trying to be technical with the sequels. Yeah. But we won't go there. Okay. We won't go there just yet. But what if Dr. Pershing created Snoke? What if Snoke is already walking around in the Outer Rim? What if he's already beginning to lead an Imperial Remnant? What if all of this is leading, of course, to Snoke and Palpatine and his contingency plan and all that, and many people are going to be like, oh, the sequels, boo-hoo, and drop a dislike on this video and get on out of here. And I know a lot of people, the sequels are a shaky topic, and nobody tends to like to talk about the sequels. However, this is what we're leading to. This is what Dr. Pershing is all about. This is why wiping his mind was so very important, because what he knows about the contingency plan from Palpatine, what he knows about the plans to create Snoke, or if Snoke's already walking around somewhere, that is important enough to wipe his mind. That is important enough to send in one of their officers into the capital of the New Republic to wipe his mind. And that is crazy. And that is why. That episode was so important. That's why that episode was so important. Jeffrey says, no sequels, please. I understand. But that's where this is all going to. The sequels are canon. And I know, the sequels aren't canon. The sequels are my canon. They are not my head canon. Blah, blah, blah-bitty blue. You can yell about it all day long, but they are canon. And this is all going to eventually lead into the sequels. However, with all of that being said, these characters, Din Djarin, Grogu, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, that's just to name a few. All these new characters that we're being introduced to, Greef Karga, Cobb Vanth, even Boba Fett, they're not in the sequel trilogy. Now you could say, oh, maybe they're dead by then. Or they're just in a different part of the galaxy. Or they just exist past the sequel trilogy. The sequels are just one bad year. About a year and a half, maybe 2 years. One bad year. So even if you don't like the sequels, or if you like the sequels, doesn't matter. All these characters are going to exist past the sequels or beyond, and it won't matter. Whether you like the sequels or you're not, whether you think of them as canon or not, it won't matter. We'll move past them, and you can either think of them or you don't have to. But Grogu, Din, all these other characters are going to keep moving forward. And I hope that people can actually just live with that. Honey Badger says, unfortunately, my friend, they are inevitable. A lot like Thanos, the sequels are inevitable. He follows up and says, yeah, all the cloning stuff is extremely important, so purging scenes were needed, agreed. Yes, the purging scenes were very, very needed. And I think a lot of fans are just getting very, very upset about The Mandalorian episode because that we saw the Mythosaur at the end of episode 2, and we didn't really go any further with the Mythosaur. The Mythosaur was so cool seeing it at the end of episode 2, and Bo-Katan obviously keeping it a secret at the beginning of episode 3, episode 3. And it's going to be extremely important moving down the line. And we're going to get so much more Mandalore. We're going to get so much more Mythosaur, Mandalorian lore stuff. But this episode was very, very needed. At least I believe. He follows up and says, Mando, Ahsoka, Grogu, and Bo will live on past episode 9. And that's exactly what they're building to now. I really hope so. I really I had to clear my throat. I really hope so. I really do. I really hope so. Bumtendo Advanced. That's a great name. That is a great name. Says, I bought a 16 gauge steel chest plate that looks like the Mandalorian recently. It's a knife proof. It is knife proof, and I poked it multiple times. If that's not the coolest thing I've heard all day, from Bumtendo Advanced. If that's not the coolest thing I've ever heard from the coolest name I've heard all day. That was great. That's awesome. So it's a chest plate that looks like the Mandalorian, and it's knife proof. So pretty much you just have to get the whole set, and then you can walk around and be a vigilante wherever you live. That's what I'm hearing. You're the next Batman. You're the next Bumtendo of your neighborhood. That's what I'm hearing. Honey Badger says, Luke lived to episode 8. Not my Luke. Yeah, not my Luke Skywalker. And he was older than Mando and Bo. And definitely Grogu will be there too. Yeah, no, agreed. The Knifealorian. Jeffrey, okay, Bumtendo, if you do become a vigilante, if you create the entire ensemble of your chest plate and all the rest of the armor, if you become a vigilante in your town, Bumtendo Advanced, you have to call yourself the Knifealorian. And then you have to tell people that Jeffrey Snow was the one who sent you. Okay? That is a must. That is a must. The Knifealorian. That's great. The Knifealorian. Doesn't get much better than that. Yeah. Bumtendo Advanced follows up and says, I'm a Native American and I grew up on a reservation. I shall be the actual tribal Mando. That's awesome. That is so cool. So you're literally like the Mandalorian of your tribe, is what I'm hearing. That's sick. That's awesome. That is so cool. Do you have a Nintendo, or do you just have the Bumtendo? That's what I want to know. Mando Chief, as in like Master Chief. My dad inspires me more than the Mandalorian. Are you sure about that, Bumtendo? Are you sure about that? No, that's great. You should. That is fantastic. All right, let's move on into some other Star Wars news that we got here. Honey Badger says, that's tough, brother. I don't have a dad. I was born by the Force. See, at first I was like, okay, I'm sorry, Honey Badger, but I don't know if I believe you now. Were you actually born by the Force? I'm confused. I'm confused. Honey Badger is Anakin Skywalker. Okay, let's keep going. Let's continue on to some other Star Wars news. So, here's what I think, before we do, here's what I think that The Mandalorian is setting up. I know you saw the thumbnail. It says the setup, the big setup. Yes, okay. All right, Honey Badger, I get it. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. All right, all right. Okay. So here's what I think that this is all setting up. Here's what I think that that third episode is setting up. It's setting up not only a possible tease at Palpatine's contingency plan, but it also set up Moff Gideon's escape from prison. Now, it was a brief interaction or a brief mention of one of those other Amnesty members, like when he's sitting down at the table, and he says, I heard that Moff Gideon escaped a prison transport. And the other guy says, no, that was just the rumor. That was just a cover-up for what actually happened. He was put in the Mind Flayer. So obviously, I don't think the Mind Flayer thing was true. But if that whole he escaped the prison transport is true, then you guys are distracting me. Sorry. You guys are distracting me. Okay. Yeah, so if that whole prison transport thing is true, that means Moff Gideon is freed. Moff Gideon is freed. And Moff Gideon is going to be way more of a threat than Bo-Katan ever would have been for this season. Like, everybody was like, oh, is Bo-Katan going to be the main villain of this season? No. It's going to be Moff Gideon. It's going to be the Empire. It's going to be this Imperial remnant. And that's what this whole episode was setting up. What Dr. Pershing was doing with the cloning. What he knows about Palpatine's contingency plan. They needed to wipe his brain. And that's what it sets up. It sets up Moff Gideon's escape. It sets up the future of this season. It sets up what's going to go down in the rest of this season. Okay. Honey Badger says, eating dinner, I'll join back shortly. Much love as always. And he says, everyone smash the like button. This is the way. Of course, smash the like button. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you haven't smashed the like button yet, oh my God, smash that like button. Bumtendo Advanced said, the Mind Flayer was horrifying and caught me so off guard. Honestly, Bumtendo, I completely agree. I was like, hang on a second. That was dark. That was really dark. Like, she just turned up the switch and started to just, like, his brain is gone now. Like, or not gone, obviously. His brain has been wiped now. I thought that was really dark, and I was like, hang on a second. That is weird. He follows up and says, when the guy was being put into the mind-wiping device, felt like daycare vibes. What daycare did you go to, Bumtendo? Oh, yikes. That felt like daycare to you? You might need to go find a new daycare. So Jeffrey Snow says, where is Fett? Where is Boba Fett? That's a great question. Where is Boba Fett? So we've talked about this many, many times on stream here. Is Boba Fett going to be in this season? And the common consensus is yes, he's going to be in this season. Now, where is he? Of course, there's still 5 more episodes, but where is Boba Fett? It's a great question. So I think, of course, Boba Fett's still on Tatooine. I think that Din Djarin hasn't needed Boba yet. Din Djarin hasn't really faced any threats yet, except for the TIE interceptors that they just faced at the beginning of the last episode. So other than those, he hasn't really had any threats yet. But when Moff Gideon becomes relevant again and comes into the picture, that is when they're going to have to go get friends to help. They're going to have to get Boba Fett. They're going to have to get all the other Mandalorians that Bo-Katan was working with, like Axel Wolf, and what's the other girl's name? What's the other Mandalorian's name? The other girl there, played by Sasha Banks. Yeah, it's going to be weird. So yeah, I think that they're going to have to go find Boba Fett then when they need help. But right now they just don't need help. They don't. They were on a mission to go to the mines of Mandalore to get Din Djarin his Mandalorianness back, and that happened. And that's where we're at. So I think in this upcoming episode, or a few episodes to come, Moff Gideon is going to come into the picture, and the Empire, or even a bigger threat, and maybe even Grand Admiral Thrawn. I seriously doubt we'll see Grand Admiral Thrawn in this season, but I think we'll definitely get some nods to Grand Admiral Thrawn throughout the season, because he's going to be set up as the big bad in this Mando-verse throughout the next 5 to 10 years. And he's going to be one of the main villains of the Ahsoka show, if not the main villain of the Ahsoka show. Jeffrey Snow said, I mean, he was listed to play a bigger role. I don't know. Was Boba Fett actually listed to play a big role? I don't think so, Maybe he'll be a huge role come the end of the season. My C-3PO's falling over. What the heck? Maybe he will be a bigger role come the end of the season, but as of right now, he is not. He's just not the big role that he was supposed to be. He's not the big role he's supposed to be. Bumtendo Advanced follows up and says, meant more like how the calamari were reacting to the situation and uncaring. Yeah, true. That calamari was like, oh, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. Just fine. Just fine. It was very creepy. It was very, very creepy. It was very, very creepy. And actually, did you guys notice this? I was going to put it in my breakdown video and I just completely forgot. But when he says that, when he's like trying to plead to the calamari, the calamari guy that's standing next to him, he's like, she set me up. It was a trap. And he says it was a trap and looks right at him. And of course, we know Admiral Akbar is the one who says, it's a trap. And he's, of course, of the same species. So I thought that was actually pretty funny by John and Dave. Jeffrey Snow falls up and says, I thought they were just jumping him into the end of the fight. I was over the moon, but then when I saw it was the covert, I pulled back down to Earth. Oh, you thought they were pulling into like him at the end of the episode. Yeah, I get what you mean. So you thought that they were going to see Boba Fett on Tatooine at the end of that episode. That would have made sense, or it would have been like a safe place for them to go. But yeah, no, it definitely makes more sense that it was the armor, because he had to prove that he is a Mandalorian again and got his Mandalorianness back. But I get Bumtendo follows up and says, I really liked the ruined city vibe and visuals. Yeah. No, Coruscant was awesome. Coruscant was so cool. It was so unbelievably cool. I don't know how people are complaining that we got Coruscant. Like, people are like, too much Coruscant. Yeah, no, shut up. Shut up. You're stupid. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I loved it. I absolutely loved Coruscant. Seeing Coruscant, I mean, it looks so unbelievably cool with all the new technology and stuff. When you look at it, like, I think somebody in the Discord, by the way, if you want to join a Discord where we talk about Star Wars, there's a bunch of people talking about Star Wars all the time. There's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go check that out. But I think Wayne or somebody in the Discord was saying how Coruscant honestly feels like a completely different planet. Like, it completely feels like a different planet just because of how good the graphics are and how good the visuals are in this episode. Just because of the fact that in the prequel trilogy, CGI was kind of a newer thing and Coruscant didn't really look this good. But in this episode, Coruscant looked unbelievable. So it was very cool to see. So we do have some other news regarding The Mandalorian, and it is kind of bad news. However you want to take it, it's a little bit of bad news. But it is regarding episode 4. So episode 4 of The Mandalorian, I don't think we have a name for it yet. I don't think that got leaked yet. But we do have a runtime. So the runtimes have been all over the place. Like, all over the place. The first episode, the premiere, was 34 minutes, something like that. It was very short. The second episode was 42 minutes or something like that, and it was a pretty decent length. This last episode was 56 minutes, the longest Star Wars episode of any show on Disney Plus, and it was awesome. It was great. Having just that much of The Mandalorian all the time would be awesome. 56 minutes was great, and a lot of people said it dragged out on Coruscant with Dr. Pershing and stuff, but if we had 56 minutes of just straight bangers, nobody would be complaining, that's for sure. So yeah. So hopefully it keeps going that way, but we got the runtime for episode 4. We got the runtime for episode 4, and it is not good news, to say the least. The runtime for episode 4 is 30 minutes. No, not 31, not 32, not 33, not 34, not 35 or 36, not 37, 38, or 39. 30 minutes. So let me pull this up here. Hang on. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up here. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. The Mandalorian episode 4 has a 30-minute runtime. Okay. The fourth episode of The Mandalorian Season 3 has a runtime of 30 minutes and 39 seconds. The lowest yet for a show and live action. For the show and live action Star Wars TV in general. It is the lowest episode of any Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Kenobi, and or anything. The shortest episode. This episode trails behind Chapter 2 of The Mandalorian, which is, of course, the one where he gets the egg for the Jawas, which is a great episode. So by any means, like, this does not mean it's going to be a bad episode. It's just going to be a short episode. It could be just straight 30 minutes of straight fire. I mean, that 30-minute and 58-second episode, Chapter 2, where he gets the egg for the Jawas, is awesome. And it's only 30 minutes. So it's not the worst thing in the world that it's that short, but it's like, I just want more. That's kind of the thing we're in here now. It's like, it's coming off the back of the longest episode. It's coming back off the longest episode of The Mandalorian so far is the shortest one. So it could just be 30 minutes of straight fire, and I really hope it is. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough if it's not good and it's only 30 minutes. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. But 30 minutes is 30 minutes, and that's the runtime for episode 4. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is like the end of the world, or do you think it's just not that bad, or what do we think? What do we think? What do we think? Is this the end of the world? Should we start like throwing stuff around right now? Should I like start punching things? Should we lose our mind? That's what I want to know. Should we lose our mind? That's what I want. Bumtendo Advanced follows up and says, I wonder how they are going to handle like the destruction of Coruscant. Kind of sad the Empire girl tricked the scientists with how great the city is if the science research actually leads to Snoke. Yes, it is going to be sad and all that stuff. But how they handle the destruction of Coruscant, that's a good question. So Coruscant isn't the capital of the New Republic when it comes to the sequel trilogy. In the sequel trilogy, in The Force Awakens, actually, to be precise, in The Force Awakens, when they're using the Starkiller base to destroy the capital of the New Republic, they destroy Hosnian Prime? Hosnian Prime? Yeah, is Hosnian Prime? I think it's Hosnian Prime. Hosnian Prime is the capital of the New Republic. So it's not Coruscant, and at some point, Coruscant is going to get destroyed. So yeah, I wonder how they're going to handle it, and I hope they do it in a very nice way. Bumtendo follows up and says, I hope it's an intense 30 minutes. I do too. I really hope it's a very, very solid 30 minutes. And actually, seeing that it's only 30 minutes made me more excited for the episode in a weird way, because whenever it's a shorter episode, the episode seems to be a lot better. It seems to be like, we only have 30 minutes, and we're going to just jam-pack it with straight awesome stuff. That's just kind of how I feel. And I feel like when I read, it's only going to be 30 minutes, I wasn't all that bummed out. I was kind of just like, okay, just make sure it's a really good 30 minutes because, fans are going to be upset if it's not. Let's talk about the Mandalorian views, okay? Now, this is coming from, this is the stats that we got. This is the stats that we got from Samba TV. All right, I'm gonna completely butcher your name. Okay, I'm going to completely butcher your name. Okay, Nicolaya. What if I just call you Nico? Is that good? I'm going to call you Nico, okay? Nico, is that good? Nico. I know I hate it when people mess up my name. Nico, is that fine? Nico, please tell me, is that okay? Nico, I just called you Nico like 20 times. If it's not okay, I'm going to lose my mind. He says, wait, Coruscant gets destroyed? How did I not know this? So it is kind of up in the air what happens to Coruscant. Like, okay, Nico's fine. Perfect, okay. It's kind of up in the air what happens to Coruscant, okay? It's in the original design for episode 9 with Colin Trevorrow. There was supposed to be Coruscant, and it was supposed to be destroyed, and it was supposed to be like the rebels or the resistance, I should say, were fighting up against the First Order on Coruscant, and that was where like this big climactic ending, big fight scene at the end of episode 9 was actually going to happen. That was what was actually supposed to happen. So in that scenario, Coruscant was destroyed. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think it's canon that it actually was destroyed. I don't think Coruscant actually does get destroyed, at least in the Star Wars canon right now. But if that episode 9 actually happened the way it was supposed to happen, then yes, Coruscant would have been destroyed. I thought the Starkiller shot it with the 3 lasers. No, Bumtendo. Again, I never get sick of saying your name. The Starkiller base shot the Hosnian Prime system, and it was supposed to be the capital. So here, let me clarify everything. J.J. Abrams wanted to destroy Coruscant. He wanted to destroy Coruscant, get rid of the prequels. He wanted to get rid of Coruscant completely, right? But somebody smart stepped in and said, no, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. So he didn't do that, and we didn't destroy Coruscant. Great news, Coruscant is alive. But you have Hosnian Prime get destroyed. Yes, the 3 lasers destroy all of the Hosnian Prime system, which is the capital of the New Republic at the time. So yeah, Coruscant does not get destroyed, but it was going to get destroyed in J.J. Abrams' Force Awakens and in Colin Trevorrow's The Duel of the Fates is what his episode 9 was going to be called, The Duel of the Fates, which would have been cool, but you never know. You never know. I don't know. Let me ask you guys something. Are you looking forward to a sequel movie, like not episode 10, but the next movie that Disney is going to announce at Star Wars Celebration is supposed to be a post-sequel trilogy movie. Are you guys okay with that? And it probably won't involve most of the sequel characters. Okay, Jeffrey immediately says, hell no. And I know, Jeffrey, you hate the sequels. I know you do. But what if it didn't involve any of the sequel characters? What if it involved maybe Grogu and Din Djarin or something along those lines? Nico says it depends on what the plot is. Yes, it completely depends on what the plot is and whether or not those characters are involved and kind of who's in charge of it. As of right now, Damon Lindelof, who is was the writer for The Watchmen and some other things, he is supposed to be writing this episode, and it's supposed to be directed by the Ms. Marvel director. On the surface, it sounds like a very bad idea. But again, as Nico points out, it depends on what the plot of the movie is. It really does. Bumtendo says, I want an alternate timeline where Kylo did team up with Rey and it gets weird. I hate to disagree with you, Bumtendo, because your name is so fantastic, but I don't want Star Wars to go into that alternate timeline, multiverse type stuff. I don't want any of that. I just don't. That would be terrible. That's the problem that Marvel is having right now. If any of you guys are Marvel fans, Marvel is having a huge problem where it's the multiverse. In casual fans and people who don't really read the comics and all that stuff, they aren't into it. They don't like the multiverse. They don't like different timelines and all that stuff. That's why actually I'm excited for the Ahsoka show to explain the World Between Worlds more, because the World Between Worlds is kind of something that could change the timeline and stuff like that. But I think Dave Filoni is actually going to make the World Between Worlds actually use it to explain that the timeline can't be changed, that all these stuff that happens can't be changed. The rumor is, this is all rumor mill, Ahsoka is going to go into the World Between Worlds and try to save Anakin. Try to get him back to the light side, also try to save Ezra from Thrawn, all that stuff. But what she's going to find out is that these things cannot be changed. They cannot be altered. The past cannot be altered. Destiny cannot be changed. And then that's when we're going to realize that the World Between Worlds is not it's a conduit between the living and the dead, like Palpatine explains it to be. It's a conduit between the living and the dead. That means like Force ghosts and stuff like that. It's not a time travel device. You know, if that makes any sense. If I just completely lost you guys, I understand. Jeffrey Snow says, if Din and Grogu are in the movie, no problem. Or even a mix with Sabine on Mandalore as a kid or something, if that makes sense. Well, Sabine on Mandalore? I'm confused. Okay. Yeah, no, I get what you're trying to say though. If it's a movie about Din Djarin and Grogu on Mandalore and stuff like that, you'll be okay with it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If it's a sequel movie, they can't say, "Oh, this is going to be a sequel movie," because as soon as people hear the word sequel, they literally just check out completely. They're like, "No thanks, no sequels." But if it's just a movie that takes place after the sequel trilogy involving characters like Grogu and Din and stuff like that, it's not a sequel movie. So please don't. What's up, Florida Sucks? Please don't like advertise it as a sequel movie. That would be the worst idea ever. Worst idea ever. I know you're kidding. Florida. I know. I was about to lose my mind until you said that you were kidding. But yeah, I got a bunch of other chats to catch up on. So Nico says, I don't want any multiverse shenanigans. Exactly. I don't want any multiverse in the Star Wars universe. Definitely not. Definitely not. No thanks. Jeffrey says, Bumtendo. Bumtendo, your name is my favorite name ever. I might name my first kid Bumtendo. True story. I suppose, but I thought it'd be cool to see black space at some point referenced from legend. I don't know what you're talking about there. Black space? I've read a lot of legends. I'm lost. What's black space? Somebody tell me. Black space? Is that the zombie stuff? I don't know. What has happened will always be. Yeah, exactly, Nico. I think what has happened in the Star Wars galaxy will remain that way forever. Canon is canon is canon is canon, and it can't be changed. That's why I'm actually more excited to see like an Old Republic stuff, because it's so far detached from what we have in the Skywalker saga that it would be so cool to see. Jeffrey Snow says, no multiverse, only crossovers should really happen. But Din and Boba should happen. Din and Boba cause all for reason. Jeffrey, I am struggling here, man. Has been shown, explained, and flushed out, except most fans. I don't know, Jeffrey. I'm sorry. Try to retype that. Bumtendo says, I don't know. Ahsoka tried to tell Ezra that he couldn't do it pretty firmly. Can I not read English today, or are you guys just making no sense? Bumtendo says, I don't know. Ahsoka tried to tell Ezra he couldn't do it pretty firmly. Go back into the world between worlds. Ha ha! I'm a genius. Okay. Yeah, he's trying to say that she told him not to go back into the world between worlds. It's true. The world between worlds is not there to be toyed with. Florida Sucks says, Mandalore sucks. I'm just kidding, by the way. Yeah, no. What's up, Florida Sucks? We missed you. Bumtendo says, white space, I think it's called maybe. Like the space was inverted. I still don't know what you're talking about. I must have not read that or something. But we are going to this place called the New Beyond in the Ahsoka show, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'm just saying crossovers only make sense right now in Star Wars is Boba and Din. Other than that, the characters, yes. No, you're completely right, Jeffrey Snow. And that makes way more sense. Jeffrey's saying that crossovers only make sense, not a multiverse. So crossovers like Din and Boba, who exist at the same time, characters that exist at the same time, those people can cross over. Yeah. All right, let's pull up this article. I finally caught up on my chats, so we're going to pull up this article. So this has to do with the Mandalorian numbers. The Mandalorian numbers, and they're not good. They do the numbers. So we went over this a little bit on Tuesday, but not really. So we're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so The Mandalorian Season 3 premiered with 1.6 million views. Now, the number 1.6 million sounds like a lot. It's not. It's really not. Okay, so Star Wars' The Mandalorian third season is off to a strong start with 1.6 million households tuning into the premiere on Disney+. Lies. It's a weak premiere. This data via Simba TV, say it with me, Simba TV, allows us to compare Mando's openers to other Star Wars premieres. And although strong, this comes in third versus recent counterparts. So the Obi-Wan Kenobi's unsurprisingly leads in the charts with 2 million households viewerships, and the Andor show settles the scale down with only 0.6 million. Yeah, you Andor fans out there, 0.6 million people watched the premiere, and trust me, it just went down from there. As for the Mandoverse, the Book of Boba Fett edged out season 3 by a few thousand, and blah blah blah. So yeah, so the Mandalorian started with 1.6. The Book of Boba Fett was higher. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show was higher. The Mando season 2 was higher. Mando season 1, I think, might have even been higher. Andor was lower. Okay, and we know Andor is Andor, and Andor is Andor. So the fact of the matter is, obviously, many people are watching this. Not as many people are watching this than even the Obi-Wan Kenobi show or even the Book of Boba Fett. And this is supposed to be their smash hit show. Now, here's where I think Star Wars is hurting. The viewership numbers are down. And when I talk about viewership numbers being down, this is Star Wars. This is supposed to be the biggest IP on the planet. The biggest IP on the planet. So it should be getting the most views. Correct? Wrong. Anybody watch a show called The Last of Us? Anybody watch The Last of Us on HBO Max? The Last of Us premiere had 4 million views. 4. That's over double this. And the finale doubled. So it was almost up at 8 million views in the finale of The Last of Us. The Mandalorian will never hit that. Ever. And where is the problem? First of all, they didn't advertise this show at all. Sure, there was commercials every once in a while. You might have saw an ad or two. But nobody, so many people were like, wait, The Mandalorian's out? The Mandalorian is out right now? Yeah, it is. And Lucasfilm is doing a terrible job of advertising that. Second of all, the show comes out at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Comes out at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Wednesday. At 3 in the morning. What are we doing? Lucasfilm? What are we doing? HBO is smart. Their shows come out on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. when people sit down and watch television. Who's sitting down and watching television at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday? At 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. It's stupid, it's dumb, it's stupid, it's dumb, and it's stupid, it's dumb. It's stupid and it's dumb. Stupid and dumb. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think it's stupid and dumb? Do you guys think that it is stupid and dumb? Am I over-exaggerating on this one? You guys tell me. Jeffrey Snow says 1.2 is a lot. My country barely has 2.5 million citizens in real life. Jeffrey, what country do you live in? That's a small country. Bumtendo says, it was called Other Space. I still don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, sure. Book of Boba Fett opening deserves that credit for real. For real, it was a very good opening. True, the Book of Boba Fett was a good opening, and it's the character of Boba Fett, but The Mandalorian is supposed to be their flagship show. It's supposed to be their big hit show. So why wouldn't The Mandalorian have more views? It is the second lowest after the Andor show. The Andor show is the only show that has a lower premiere than The Mandalorian Season 3, viewer-wise, which is like mind-blowing. Nico follows up and says, I don't understand where the plot is going in The Mandalorian. So I think it's kind of going in of course, the way of cloning as always. But it's going to Moff Gideon. I think it's always going to come back to Moff Gideon with Din until he probably kills him. But no prison's going to hold him. The Empire is a bigger threat than we know. The Empire is a lot bigger threat than we know. And that's kind of what we're going to find out very, very soon. We got to tease it in this last episode. All those TIE interceptors came out of nowhere. A whole fleet of them came out of nowhere. Like, the Empire's a lot bigger than we know. Bumtendo says, usually when I talk to my friends about Star Wars, they don't like it referencing it self or old stuff. And that's why I have been told that they not keep up with Star Wars. Oh, because it references old stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yes, yeah, no, I understand. So what Bumtendo's trying to say here, and I just can't read English, is that when he talks to his friends about Star Wars, is they can't keep up. They can't keep up, and it all refers to older stuff. It's all referring to Star Wars Rebels and stuff like that, so you have to watch that. You don't have to watch it, but it makes more sense, and all that stuff. So it's like, you can't really catch up. You can't catch up. So it is a big problem with Star Wars right now, where the timeline is so messed up, it's all over the place, and Disney or Lucasfilm, whoever you want to blame, is not helping. They're not giving us any timelines to help us figure it out. They're not doing anything to help. Literally nothing. Nico says, I also didn't realize it started until I looked it up. It should have definitely aired on Sunday nights when I'm relaxing before bed. Exactly, Nico. Exactly. You didn't even know it came out until you had to look it up yourself. And it should come out on any other day at nighttime when people are awake. Like, what is going on? He says, I mean, I love me some good old English. But yeah, no, continuity is what he was trying to say. They got a huge problem on their hands. Florida Sucks says Marvel is by far a bigger mess right now. So Marvel is a big mess. But when you look at Marvel and how successful they've been over the last 12 years, like, it's not even close. Marvel from 2008 to 2019 versus Star Wars from 2012 to now, it's not even close. Like, Marvel is leaps and bounds ahead of Star Wars right now, and that's sad. I love Star Wars so much more than I love Marvel, and that's why I'm sitting in front of you right now talking about Star Wars. It's I know Marvel's in a weird spot because of the multiverse and all their projects kind of suck right now, but Star Wars is just in a way weirder spot where they don't have an Endgame and an Infinity War that happened just a few years ago. It's just weird. It's a weird spot for Star Wars. And I think the content is still good. The Bad Batch this week was a little iffy, but the last 2 weeks were really good. This Mando episode was the worst of the 3, but it was still good. Like, the content is good. It's, for some reason, nobody's watching it. 1.6 million households are watching The Mandalorian, the biggest IP Star Wars on the planet, and 1.6 million people are the only people watching it. What? That's stupid. Stupid. Shouldn't be coming out at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Wednesday. That's your first problem. It should be coming out like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday or something else. Like, it's just dumb. It is dumb. It is dumb. It is really dumb. Bumtendo Advanced follows up and says, I got lucky and I just stumbled across The Mandalorian Season 3 starting while I was catching up with The Bad Batch. Was a pleasant surprise. Exactly. That's 2 people in the chat of 5 people. Just roasted myself. That was 2 people in the chat of 5 people that didn't even know that The Mandalorian Season 3 was coming out until they stumbled upon it themselves, and they had to look it up themselves. Lucasfilm is failing miserably at not only just advertising the show, but getting people to watch. It's stupid. Mr. Sean 2000 says, Last of Us showed that Sunday 11 p.m. releases work. It was at 11 p.m., not 9 p.m.? I thought it was 9 p.m. But yeah, no, exactly. We were just talking about that, Mr. HBO Max has way more views. The Last of Us had literally over double the amount of views that The Mandalorian has because it came out at an hour where people are watching TV. At an hour where people can actually watch TV. And on a weekend, on a Sunday, the weekend. We're not talking about Wednesday nights at 3 in the morning. Mr. Sean says, maybe, I don't know. I always watch them on Monday nights. Yeah, I never watched them on the Sunday nights either, but I always thought HBO came out at 9 p.m. on Sundays. But maybe you're right. I don't know. But I think it's just really dumb. In Star Wars, Lucasfilm, get your head out of your freaking ass. See, I don't swear a lot on stream. Yeah, on stream. But when I do, I like to make them count. Tendo Advanced says, Bumtendo, I swear to you, I'm naming my first kid Bumtendo. Bumtendo Advanced says, I always found when stuff is released on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, it feels better. It's a nice weekend feeling. Exactly. The weekend, when people are here doing stuff. There's a reason that I stream at 8 p.m. There's a reason that me, a guy who literally only has 5 people watching right now, is streaming at 8 p.m. I used to do it at 1 p.m. Nobody was around at 1 p.m. because people worked, people did stuff, people do stuff throughout their days. I do it at 8 p.m. You want to know why? Because that's when people are home. That's when people are available. That's when people watch things. I'm not streaming at 3 a.m. It's literally just hurts my brain to think about. It hurts my brain. Why can we come up with a better system and Lucasfilm is sitting there like, and it's Disney. It's a Disney problem because Marvel shows come out at 3 a.m. too. It's a stupid problem that can so easily be fixed. So simply be fixed because Mr. and Mrs. Sean just says Friday nights would be fire. And he's completely right. Friday night at 8 p.m. Friday night at 8 p.m. How simple and easy is that? A Friday night, 8 p.m. showing of The Mandalorian. How simple and easy is that? It's not rocket science. And hopefully, with Kathleen Kennedy like way more than halfway out the door right now at Lucasfilm, she's supposed to be gone by this summer. And we still have the deal. If she's here by November, I'm giving away a free lightsaber. We've gone over this a million times because I will bet a free lightsaber that Kathleen Kennedy's gone by November. But Kathleen Kennedy will be gone by July, I believe, after Indiana Jones comes out, because that's going to be her just goodbye song. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it would be 7 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. is just perfectly fine with me. Literally anything but 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Yeah, no thanks. 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. Yeah. Anything but the time that they have, the middle of the week at 3 a.m. Literally, they said, hey, what would be the worst time to release our shows? What would be the worst time to release our shows? Huh? What would be the worst time to release our shows? And somebody raises their hand. Oh, yeah. What about a Wednesday? Okay, Wednesdays. Yeah, the middle of the week. That would be the worst time ever. When should we do it on a Wednesday? Like at 8 p.m.? No. Let's do it like really, really, really early in the morning. Like 3 a.m. And for some reason, somebody wrote that down and forgot about it, and then somebody came across that same piece of paper and said, oh, let's do this. The absolute worst time to put a show out, the middle of the week. We just talked about how the weekends were the best. Gotta clear my throat, hang on. Okay. But yeah, it's just dumb. It's really dumb. Florida Sucks chimes in and says, I bet, by the way, we got some great names in here, by the way. Let's be real. Florida Sucks and Bumtendo. I mean, it doesn't get better. Okay. Florida Sucks says, I bet some people will watch some of those shows when she leaves. Some of these shows when she leaves. Yes, a lot of people are actually not watching Star Wars right now because of Kathleen Kennedy. It's crazy. Her leaving would only just do so much more for the company. Bumtendo Advanced says, the only rocket science with The Mandalorian was the little dude who tried stealing Mando's jetpack and got a free ticket to the stratosphere. Oh, yeah. He's talking about episode 2 of season 2, at like the opening scene when the guys try to steal his jetpack, the little guy, the like little alien looking dude, and then he sends him up. And yeah, that was great. Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Sean says Mondays at 5 a.m. would be worse. Yeah, but some people are up at 5 a.m. Like some morning people are just up at 5 a.m. So no, it wouldn't. Maybe Mondays at 3 a.m. in the morning would be worse. But yeah, no, yeah. Nico says, hang on, Nico, I'm going to get to yours. I'm going to go to Bumtendo first. Bumtendo says, I feel like releasing stuff in the middle of the week, it gets lost in the sea of information and noise too. Yeah, so by the time it's the weekend, people don't even remember that there's a new episode of The Mandalorian. It does. It really does. But I'm going to go back to Nico, who said, I can't wait for the Acolyte show. Perfect, Nico. You're a genius because I got some news regarding the Acolyte show. So the Acolyte show is in the works right now. And we talked about on Tuesday how it's already confirmed to get multiple seasons, which is awesome. Literally awesome. Can't wait. And we talked about it in the past, how it's going to be Sith-centered show. It's going to be awesome, like the first ever Sith-centered show, first ever Sith-centered thing that we've gotten from Star Wars. But here is some other good news regarding the Acolyte Show. So the Acolyte Show did have a little bit of a shakiness to it where somebody sued the company, but it wasn't because of the Acolyte Show itself. It was a whole thing. A Bendu show. That would be cool. Wasn't that leak because of the lawsuit? Yeah, the multiple seasons thing. Yes, it was because of the lawsuit. Yes, you are correct. But the lawsuit wasn't like the worst thing in the world. Like, of course, it sucks that they did this girl dirty who did work for their show. But like, you know, you have lawsuits all the time. It's just this one made the press. So here we go. Disney Plus's Star Wars The Acolyte set for record-breaking run times. So already good news. So 8 hours of The Acolyte is on deck. So ready? It's confirmed for 8 episodes. According to a new listing, fans can expect some record-breaking run times for Disney Plus's The Acolyte Show. So we just talked about how episode 4 of The Mandalorian is going to be the shortest Star Wars Disney Plus show ever, with 30 minutes. Now we got some news about The Acolyte Show being the longest episodes. So a post on an agency site for the project's intimacy coordinator, that person, lists the series as having 8 episodes. Good news, same as The Mandalorian, 8 episodes, kind of been the common theme with the Disney Plus shows. 8 episodes, actually not really a common theme because Andor was 12 and Kenobi was 6 and the Book of Boba Fett was 7, so they're really all over the place. But it's going to be 8 episodes that will all be approximately 60 minutes long. An hour. Approximately, of course, so they'll be around an hour, but 60 minutes long. That's awesome. Which will seemingly allow at least one Acolyte installment to break the record for the longest Disney Plus live-action Star Wars show. Currently, the longest Star Wars episode belongs to the Bad Batch premiere, which clocked in at 1 hour and 11 minutes. That was Bad Batch Season 1, which was a banger because it was Order 66. But that project was animated. The live-action record holder is the last episode that we just got for The Mandalorian, episode 3, with a runtime of 56 minutes and 11 seconds. This is also the first time fans have gotten an indication on how many episodes the Acolyte show will run, with 8 seemingly being the golden number. This is typically amongst some of the Star Wars streaming cohorts. The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 both had 8 episodes apiece. So this listing puts the Acolyte show in line with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's flagship Star Wars show. So has this actually been revealed? Some will look at these numbers and scoff at their legitimacy. That's me scoffing. As placeholders, figures are used in this manner all the time. English, hang on one second. Are used in this manner all the time. However, looking deeper at the agency's post, these numbers might hold more water than one would think. If the Acolyte show was the only title listed, then it would be more difficult to discern if the 60-minute figures were authentic. But the listing includes other titles with correct episode counts and run times. Also series on. Get a better name. Get a better name like Bumtendo, okay? Resume includes Netflix's You Season 4 and Amazon Prime's The Great, which have 10 episodes at 50 minutes and 10 episodes at 45 minutes, respectively. Most of these episodes of the series come in right around those listed marks within 5 minutes. So while every episode of the Acolyte show will not be exactly 60 minutes, fans can expect the series to run a lot on the longer side and getting closer to that hour than some of its streaming brethren. Jeez, easy for me to read. Gosh darn. Okay, so that's good news. That is great news. The Acolyte show is going to be 8 episodes, and it's going to already run for multiple seasons. And now we know that each of the episodes is going to be at least or around approximately 60 minutes, which is going to be awesome. Awesome. Bumtendo says, I didn't even know the Accolade was a thing. Now I have a new thing to look forward to. Neat. Yes, the Accolade show is going to be very, very fun, and I can't wait. Mr. Mrs. Sean says, the Bad Batch premiere was top tier Star Wars. Yes, that first season premiere was top tier Star Wars. The second season premiere was good. It was alright. But yeah, that first season Order 66 stuff with Caleb Dune and all that crazy stuff with Order 66 was awesome. Florida Suck says, agrees and says, yes, premiere was fantastic. Bumtendo says, I think it would be cool for a Mandalorian to encounter a homeless hermit clone like Order 66 trooper in Kenobi. That would be kind of cool. Maybe it would be like a member of the Bad Batch or something if they survived that long. Or maybe even Commander Cody or Captain Rex. That would be very, very cool. That would be very cool. Very, very cool. He follows up and says, Bumtendo isn't even my best username. I usually roll with Ewok Dropkicker on video games. Ewok Dropkicker? That's awesome. Yeah, my username on video games is Dr. Gonk Droid, which is not nearly as cool. That's awesome. Honey Badger is back. He says, I'm back. Sorry, won't be able to type as much, but I'm here. Why won't you be able to type as much? Did you just get all your fingers chopped off? Because if so, that's valid. Nico follows up and says, I'm just excited for a focus on the dark side. We've needed that. Yes, the dark side seems to be gone. I mean, honestly, like Palpatine's gone. If you're talking about like now in the timeline, Palpatine's gone. There's no real Sith presence at all. Like the dark side is nowhere. So a show centered around it is going to be very, very cool. Very, very cool. Honey Badger says Ewok Dropkicker is gold. It is gold. Bumtendo's, I don't know. I kind of like Bumtendo more. Although the Dropkicker threw me off and made me laugh, but the Bumtendo is great. Bumtendo, and it's not just Bumtendo, it's Bumtendo Advanced, which is great. Somebody get a Bumtendo counter, because I've definitely said Bumtendo like 100 times this stream. I've been asked, am I an Ewok that does drop kicking, or am I drop kicking Ewoks? Well, which one is it, Bumtendo? Which one is it? Are you drop kicking Ewoks, or are you an Ewok that does drop kicking? Because an Ewok that does drop kicking would be funnier because they're tiny and just teddy bears. Young Badger says, no, because I'm actually eating watching your live stream while watching a movie with my fam. This is the way. This is the way. What movie? Star Wars? Better be Star Wars. Best be Star Wars, Honey Badger. Best be Star Wars. What other news we got going on? Is there any other news that we got to go over? Is there any other news that we got to go over? Let's find out. I'm pretty sure that was all that I had written down, at least for the thing. We had a little bit of Taika Waititi talking about his his Star Wars project, but there wasn't really all that much going on there. Hang on, this is kind of interesting. Hang on. All right, let's read this. Unfortunately, no, but I am watching Mando Chapter 19 with my brother after. We're the only Star Wars fans in my family, lol. Nico says, bruh, I've been working on that project forever. He's been working on that project forever. What project? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Nico? Oh, Taika Waititi. Yes. I was completely lost for a second. Yeah, Taika's been working on this movie forever, and we have no news on it or anything. He has to get caught up. Yeah, true. Okay. When I picked the name, I was thinking like a depressed stormtrooper that was really upset with how a battle on Endor went, and would tell the other stormtroopers he would dropkick Ewoks. The story makes it so much better. That is awesome. I'll try not to laugh so you guys can hear it. Bumtendo Advanced says that when he picked the name of Ewok Dropkicker, he was thinking like a depressed stormtrooper that was really upset about how the Battle of Endor went and would tell the other troopers that he would dropkick Ewoks. That's so great. Oh my god, that's so good. That is so good. Okay, let's read this article. Oh my god, that's perfect. Oh, that's so great. That is so great. You guys are the best, by the way. If you guys didn't know, you guys are the best. Just don't forget it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, and then you'll really be the best. You'll really be the best. Bumtendo says, pent-up stormtrooper rage. And Honey Badger just said, I got in trouble for laughing out loud. That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell them why you got in trouble. Honey Badger, tell them why. Tell them that you were watching the stream. There. The Mandalorian's Dr. Pershing, Season 3, Future explained. It says future up there. I can guarantee it. The screen just cuts off. So we're talking about the future of Dr. Pershing. So, Dr. Pershing's cloning conundrum. Cloning conundrum. Warning. The rest of this article contains spoilers for The Mandalorian Chapter 19. Oh yeah, guys. When you come into the stream, don't forget that there will be spoilers in this stream. If you're an hour and 20 minutes in and you didn't realize that there was going to be spoilers in this stream, sucks. Okay. Now, the good, or in this case bad, Doctor is back. Having appeared in the last episode of The Mandalorian, Dr. Pershing is seen going through the amnesty program on Coruscant, being reintroduced into New Republic life after years of working for the Empire. While the character does not seem to be harboring any truly evil ideas, he does miss the cloning work, thinking maybe somehow his research could be retrofitted to help the New Republic. However, after an attempt alongside another formal Imperial officer, Alaya Kane, again, if you guys watch my breakdown, you know that Alaya, her name is literally Alaya. Come on. To retrieve lab equipment goes wrong. Pershing seemingly has his mind wiped, with Kane being the one to manipulate the Mind Flayer-like device. Pershing finds himself strapped to ensure he remembers nothing. But English. But what could this all mean for the franchise and this particular Disney Plus show moving forward? Is Pershing the cloning key? Dr. Pershing wanted to pursue further research on his cloning work. Brings up a few interesting points for not just the future of The Mandalorian, but where the Star Wars series goes from here within the timeline. Cloning has been a hot topic as of late, with The Bad Batch Season 2 tackling a lot of the same grounds right now as well. But Pershing, specifically, could easily be the key to how Emperor Palpatine ultimately comes back in the form that he does in The Rise of Skywalker. For years, The Mandalorian showrunner, Dave Filoni, has been taking some of the more malgand, is that a word? Star Wars content. See, I'm very good with English, trust me. Star Wars blah blah blah, where was I? Star Wars content, and legitimizing it by way of supplemental. Yes. He did it with the prequel eras in the Clone Wars, and now it looks like Jon Favreau and himself are doing it with the sequel era. So what they're pretty much saying here, or what I lack to be able to read, is that they are doing what they did to this prequel era by adding the Clone Wars and adding all these character development to the sequel era. And I know people are like, boo, sequels, boo, 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 boo. But they're there and they happen. So we're just trying to make them better. We're just trying to make them better. with Dr. Pershing in The Mandalorian. So, in Chapter 19 of The Mandalorian, Pershing talks of being on the verge of a breakthrough, just as he was taken in by the New Republic. So what exactly was he referring to? Well, that breakthrough could be the creation of the perfect Palpatine clone, with rumors swirling that Andy Serkis's Snoke, a seemingly imperfect Palpatine clone, will make an appearance in this season of The Mandalorian. That would be absolutely wild. Like, absolutely wild. Even if you don't like the sequels, Snoke is cool, okay? Pershing being connected in the cloning of the Sith Lord could make a lot of sense. And from what audiences saw in The Rise of Skywalker, a 100% perfect of Palpatine was never actually completed. Snoke was close, and the version of Palpatine that takes Rey and Kylo Ren at the end of Episode 9 was closer, but the work looks to have remained unfinished. So maybe the work just remains unfinished. Maybe it does. You never know. So Elia Kane's motive. So this is where my video kind of goes into, or at least what I think her motive is and stuff like that. But here we'll see what they think. But all of this will leave many asking, why did Katie O'Brien, who plays Elia Kane, take matters into her own hands at the end of The Mandalorian's latest episode, looking to have wiped Dr. Pershing's mind clean? Many have speculated that the character is somehow Palpatine. Hang on one second. We gotta talk. Okay, but hang on. I got a crazy theory that just popped into my head, and it needs to be full screen. What if Dr. Pershing's mind is wiped, like we saw at the end of the episode, right? What if it's wiped? But what if Dr. Pershing's mind actually gets restored like Luke does to Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett? What if we were talking about on Tuesday that Leia might be what triggers Grogu's second flashback of Order 66 that we've seen in the trailer? What if Dr. Pershing's mind gets, like, okayed, he remembers everything because Luke Skywalker or Leia Organa touches his head and brings his memory back, like Luke did to Grogu in the Book of Boba Fett? Would that be cool? I don't know. It just popped into my head, and I don't know. That was Scrolling back up, Bumtendo says, I encountered this stream by just by coming into the room from autoplay and just thought you were chill. I will try to keep up with your stuff. You are nice. Bumtendo, you are nice. You are nice. Thanks for stopping by. I mean, yeah, you are a lot of fun, and your name is just as fun as you are. Nico says, I feel like the New Republic isn't as good as they purpose themselves to be. I'm guessing that was supposed to say purpose. Yes, the New Republic seems to be failing, and they fail miserably, as we can tell by what happens to them in the sequel trilogy. Like, we know that they don't succeed. We know that they fail miserably. So the New Republic is not a good system. That's for sure. That is for sure, or 5 sure. Honey Badger says, I hit the follow button, turned on the post notifications. His stream are awesome. Thanks. Elia Kane is number 1 of getting cut in half with the Darksaber list. Hashtag justice for Pershing. I love it. Yes. Hopefully Mando slices and dices that Elia Kane. Snoke, let's go. I really hope Snoke. Honestly, I really do. Bumtendo says, Dr. Pershing should have just invented the Impossible Burger instead of getting involved with the Empire's gifter girl. Yes, he should have just invented the Impossible Burger. You're correct. It would have been so much easier. I hope Mando gives Elia Kane the Anakin treatment, cuts her up, and leaves her for dead. She did Pershing so wrong. Yes. Bumtendo says, I like the idea of Dr. Pershing's mind being trapped in the Force or something. Imagine Luke or Leia just like saves his mind or whatever, like he does with Grogu. That would be insane. Honey Badger says, "What a theory, bro. Not a mind wipe, but she actually restores his memory and could help and he helps create Snoke, and Leia sees that? Imagine Leia seeing Snoke being created by seeing into Dr. Pershing's mind. Are you serious? That would be insane. That would be so awesome." Nico says, "There was Palpatine Sith esque music playing when O'Brien's character was on screen. Alaya, I mean. Yeah, so when Alaya was on screen, there was very ominous Sith music, probably just referring to the Empire or Moff Gideon or Palpatine himself. Yes, there was very dark energy-ish music. It was great. It was great. It was so good. I mean, just the more and more I watched that episode over and over again, I've watched it 4 times. I'll probably watch it a 5th time sometime this weekend. It's good. And the people that crap on it saying it's too long on Coruscant with Dr. Pershing, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. Maybe you shouldn't be calling my fans like that come to the channel stupid, but they are. So yeah. I hope the other PSD stormtroopers beat up the Empire girl in a circle. Wow, we really have the hate out for Elia Kane tonight. Yeah, I guess so. I guess we do. Yikes. Okay. Okay. Bro, if they do that, I will jump out of my seat. I have a strong feeling that Leia is coming soon, and in some way or form, I'm pulling for your theories about her. Just makes sense. More Coruscant to come. I really hope we get Leia. Like, please give me more Leia. Leia would be so freaking cool. Leia, please. Leia, now. Please. Princess Leia. Please. And where there's Leia, there's Han. And where there's Han and Leia, there's a young Ben Solo too. So let's be real here. I mean, that would be so cool. A young Ben Solo. Whatever you think about the sequel trilogy, you can't deny that Ben Solo is the best character, okay? He is. Bumtendo says, "She plays such a good villain. It's hard not to hate her. My jaw just left open on the floor of spy espionage. Yeah, no, she's a great bad guy. She plays the villain so well. Like, some of the looks she gives Dr. Pershing in that episode are so good." Florida Sucks says, "I liked the new episode because it reminded me of Andor." Florida, you know what? I've heard this a lot, Florida. I've heard this a lot. Here's the take. Here's my take. This episode was everything that the Andor show wanted to be. All the Coruscant stuff in the Andor show, all of the cereal bar Cyril, literally the guy who literally just eats cereal with his mom the entire freaking show. This was everything that the Andor show wished, hoped, and dreamed it could be. Hate to break it to you, Florida, but you're wrong. Mr. Sean 2000 says, "Leia show during Rebels period to A New Hope would be nice. Empire insider with helping Rebels." Yeah, she was kind of an Empire like insider because she was like a senator's daughter and stuff like that. It would be kind of cool, but it does seem like we're going to get a Luke, Leia, and Han series on Disney Plus, and it's going to be announced at Star Wars Celebration. Awesome. She's a great village. She is a great village, Honey Badger. She is a great village. You're right. She's a great villain. You love to hate her, but I hate her now. You love to hate, but I hate her now. Yes. Maybe. No? Possibly. She is a great village, though. You're not wrong. Great village. All right, we're going to get on out of here. Is that all the news we got today? The episode wanted to be Andor. Yes. You're right. No. The Andor wanted to be this episode. are you doing a Jedi Survivor live stream on launch? So Jedi Survivor comes out April 28th. We'll talk about it the closer we get. Probably I will, yes, probably. Most likely, yes. I do have the El Gato. The El Gato. Bumtendo says, what was the sewer monster? The sewer monster? What sewer monster? Was there a sewer monster? Yeah. No, yes. Jedi Survivor comes out April 28th. Oh, the underground Mandalore droid with one eye. Yeah, so we don't really know. Like, it doesn't have a name or anything. We don't really know for sure what that thing is, but it was cool. It was a lot like Grievous, kind of. It was really cool. It was a cool little thing. We want more of them. We want more of them. It was awesome. But to answer your question, Bumtendo, I have no idea. No idea. Honey Badger says, yes, Jedi Survivor live stream, please. I'll definitely be doing on, hang on. I'll definitely be doing on too. I'm so hyped for it to come out. Please cover it on your channel. Grievous 2.0. Yeah, no, we'll definitely do some streams on it for sure. We'll just talk about it a little more. I haven't played through Jedi Fallen Order. Been meaning to pick it up again. Yeah, Bumtendo, the Jedi Fallen Order is great, and the ending is great too. But I won't spoil it for you. All right, we're gonna get on out of here. We've been going for an hour and 35 minutes. This is our longest stream by far, at least live stream by far. Yeah, this is by far our longest stream. Did I say it was by far our longest stream? No, you guys are the best. Yeah, no, I understand, Honey Badger. I know, I'm just messing with you. Just messing with you. We're gonna get on out of here. You guys are the best. This was like the most interactive stream we've had in a long time, and it's fantastic to see the channels growing like this. Of course, if you want to talk more about just Star Wars in general, if you don't want the live stream to ever end, there is a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. I know Honey Badger's in there. I know Mr. Sean 2000's in there. I know Star Wars Politics, who's not here today, but he's in there. I'm in there. We'll talk Star Wars all day long. Okay, so go check that out. Of course, we'll be live on Tuesday. Watch out for that video on Saturday. Good night, Jeffrey. Have a great, blessed night as well, /day, wherever you are. So we will get on out of here. Yeah. So watch out for that video tomorrow / maybe on Saturday, and then of course we'll get hyped on Tuesday and all that stuff. Okay. All right. Smash that like button if you like this video. Hit subscribe, and so you see, and in the bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up on the recommended feed of yours. All right, I'm gonna get on out of here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe. May the force be with you always. Wow, that was a really great stream. Wow, longest stream of all time, I think. 1 hour and 37 minutes. Holy crap. That was awesome. You guys are the best around. Bumtendo Advanced wins the day for best name. And also wins the runner-up with Ewok Dropkicker. All right.